It has been our custom on this day of our annual meeting for folk from our congregation to use this sermon time to share their journey of faith. Yet in the 7+ years that I have occupied this pulpit, even though I've shared more than a few words about scriptures and hopefully more than one or two insights about the faith, I've never shared my own journey with you. So here I am, as a member of the Congregational Church of Laconia, nervous, hesitant, that's me, not you. Hesitant and trusting that God has given me something worthy to share. And that's part of what you need to know about me as a person of faith. You need to know that I have always been a reluctant pastor. The passage that I chose today and that Paula read just a moment ago has been a favorite scripture of mine for a very long time. In fact, it was read at my ordination. I like it because it speaks to my call and to all of my doubts about who I am as a human being and as a person of faith. And so for just a moment, I'd ask you to indulge the preacher in me. I can take the robe off, but I can't get the preacher out. And to imagine what it must have been like for young Isaiah, the soon-to-be prophet. One minute he's minding his own business, the next he's encountering a vision of God, and it was a dramatic vision. We're talking the creator of the universe sitting on a heavenly throne, and so massive that the hem of his robe fills the room. We're talking angels flying around singing, "Holy, holy, holy," and the very pillars of the temple shaking even as smoke drifts around, filling the room and the nostrils. And there in the corner, shaking every bit as much as the foundations of the temple, is Isaiah, feeling lost and unworthy. And then, after a rather bizarre experience with an angel and a hot coal, the passage tells us that Isaiah heard the voice of God saying, "Whom shall I send and who will go for us?" Now, more often than not, when this passage is shared, the next line is read with confidence and enthusiasm. "Here I am, send me." But I think, considering the circumstances, it is more than likely that Isaiah had a bit of hesitation, not to mention downright fear. And so, with a shake in the voice and trepidation in his heart, his voice barely squeaks out the words from the corner of the temple. Here I am, send me." My friends, that's me. The first time I heard the leader of my youth fellowship say to my pastor, "Warren would make a good minister," my immediate and visceral response was, "No way." I had other plans for my life, and you may find it hard to believe when you see me leading worship, but I am an introvert, a quiet person. An individual with more than my fair share of questions and doubts about my own skills and abilities. In high school, I was one of those invisible kids, except when it came to my music, and it was only then, when I was playing or singing, that my light really shined. The idea of serving God, ministering with a congregation, was the last thing on my mind. I had other plans. But then my plans changed. Flunking out of the music department in college will do that to you. And it was as I struggled with what I would do with my future that I heard God's call again. "Whom shall I send? And who will go for us?" And reluctantly, with a heart filled with trepidation and a voice shaking with hesitation and doubt, I answered, "Here Here I am. Send me. And God has called me and sent me to Pepperell, Massachusetts, and Avon, Connecticut, to Short Hills, New Jersey, and Laconia, New Hampshire. It's been 32 years since my ordination, and I still get butterflies in my stomach before every service. Every service, especially on annual meeting day. And yet I've answered God's call because of my faith. A faith that tells me that God is within me and around me. A faith that no longer worries about whether the stories in our scriptures are factually true, but seeks to find God's truth in those stories. A faith that reminds me time and again that we are all God's children. And that even includes folks who frighten me and disappoint me and disagree with me. And in my quiet moments when I am able to still my heart and mind and really listen, really pay attention to what God is saying, I am able to remember that God's love even includes me. And although my faith sometimes makes my life complicated, my faith is not. For I believe with my whole heart that God will never, ever leave me on my own. God gives me the words to say and the courage to say them. And ultimately, wherever I am, whatever I do, and whatever I may have to face, I am loved. You are loved. And we are all held gently, compassionately, and eternally in the hollow of God's hands. That's the journey I walk and wrestle with every single day. And so when I hear those words, those haunting, challenging, scary words, whom shall I send and who will go for us? I can only answer with trust in God's love. Here I am. Send me.